guys. Welcome again, everyone. This video, we're going to be talking about narcissists and drugs, their dependency on drugs or alcohol or whatever it may be to alleviate that inner feeling of, um, worthlessness, not being good enough, failure, disappointment. This is one of the primary reasons why narcissists form these addictions to whether it's, it can be people, porn, alcohol, you name it, but usually it does play itself out in that way because the narcissist is constantly sabotaging themselves. And in a certain way, they kind of expect to mess up or to um, have something disrupted in their lives to where it's gonna go wrong, and they know this internally, but yet refuse to do the things to correct those problems of what's causing it. So in many ways, every time the narcissist starts out with a new situation, they're highly optimistic. They're thinking that this is going to be the best situation or the best new relationship that they're getting into, and then the part of that disorder starts to kick in and completely disrupts and shuts down their whole plan, their whole situation, you name it. It's very catastrophic. It usually ends very badly with them. And while this is going on during a certain period of time, um, I believe when a narcissist thinks back on certain things in their lives and opportunities, it really messes their heads up, right? Because they have no way of staying, you know, keeping things together. So when a person feels like they're so out of control from keeping this together, like they have no ability because they don't know how to control themselves, thus they turn to, you know, the excessiveness of using drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, as I named, to alleviate that feeling of disappointment. And many of you, well, if you're with them, you may not know, you may not even give this consideration, but it's going on. I can guarantee you, in some sort of form, some sort of way, there's some type of addiction that is out of control with them, and they keep it secret from you, and you don't know. They're very good at hiding it. Very good at hiding it. And so during this period of time, the narcissist goes through different stages of depression. And that depression, when they get stuck in a funk and they can't get out of it, they turn to the drug or alcohol or sex, as I mentioned. And this is part of their downward spiral. This is part of their downward spiral. And usually this is in between where they lose sources, or they start to reflect back on, like I said, situations that may have been exciting or good for them that they lost. And again, they're not missing the person, they're missing the experience and the situation that they were in that was beneficial for them. When they start to think about that and they realize that they have no control to you know um rectify the situation and right the wrongs from those situations, they veer off into, heavy drug abuse. A lot of them are dependent on some type of drug and using, in between. Now, these addictions are somewhat interchangeable because they can go from being on an actual substance, or they can substitute it for the new source of supply. Remember, people are just like drugs to them too. The narcissist's nature is dependent on something, some form of something to regulate their emotions. So everything becomes some sort of a object of use for them to abuse in some sort of way or create an addiction towards. So even people, right? And this is when they get a new source, that new source becomes the new drug, right? And they're on high. And then things go wrong and they crash. It's over. So guess what? They got to supplement it somewhere in some sort of way. So if they can't get a source or a person, the next closest and easiest thing to acquire is some sort of drug, or maybe or alcohol, or porn. This is how it works for them. They're in a constant state of failure, constantly, in some sort of way, in some sort of particular area of their life. They're failing. They're always failing. They're always gonna mess something up. You can be guaranteed that. And when this happens, they turn right back to the very familiar thing that they know. Now, in a lot of cases, when you're with them, they can stop the abuse. That's the crazy thing about how they operate mentally. They can stop momentarily or for a period of time that dependency on whatever other drug that they used to substitute while they didn't have a physical human presence as a source. Okay? They can stop for a little bit. Or they dibble and dabble in between while they are with the human source. When they get a little low point or they start thinking on some other situation they messed up, they'll go and reach for some type of psychedelic drug or something to take them away, something to mentally take them away from the reality of just how messed up of a person, of an individual they are, right? And all the wrong things that's went on in their life. They'll switch and sway back and forth in between that while you're with them. A lot of you, they're doing it right under your nose and you don't even know it. You're completely oblivious to the narcissist having such a heavy, strong addiction to some sort of, as I've mentioned, some sort of dependency drug or whatever that they're using right under your nose, and you have no idea, right? And so narcissists are prone to have addictions to many things, and quite easily. They can easily form addictions to things. And so when you have someone that is like that, you have someone who always reaches for some type of escapism, by default, in that way, in that nature, they can never be loyal to anything. Because a person who's constantly trying to escape is not trying to stay put. And they don't have the ability to stay put, because the thing that governs them and has control or power over them, which they're constantly chasing, some type of escapism from reality, right? So there's multiple things that can grab their attention at any given time that they can form an addiction to. And this makes for a very unreliable, undependable person. This makes for an individual who will be shifty in nature, who 1 minute they're on, next minute they're off. 1 minute they're into you, next minute they're not, because their attention constantly sways and goes from one point to the next, because they are in a situation of escapism. They're always trying to escape. When they got with you, they were escaping something else. Okay? They're never at peace. And when you have someone who is never at peace, they're going to constantly be reaching for something to alleviate that restlessness from a mental state. Whether it's a new source that comes in, that's a new drug, that's a new high, it's new. It's a new experience. They escape in the mind when they get a new source. And when that source gets old or things start going wrong, they start reaching for other drugs that help them escape. Addiction is it's like hand in hand with that disorder. And that's just what it is. And so any of you who are still dealing with one, you better believe, that is going on in some sort of way. And it's just a part of them. It is a part of them. I can't say for all of them, but I would venture to say in some sort of way there's some other addiction that you may not know about that they have. And it's in excess. It's excessive. So, really just wanted to point that out and make mention of that, and give you guys something to think about when you're dealing with these individuals. The narcissist is in a perpetual state of escapism, and they need to escape in some sort of way. They need constant change, constantly. So that's just something to be mindful of. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Um, if you're in the Dallas area, around March 30th, 2019, I will be down there doing the Narcissist Recovery Tour, which will be really, really, really good. We're going to focus on recovering, getting yourself together. I'll leave the link right here. It'll pop up if you're interested in getting tickets. We're going to focus on some things that deal on the next level of recovery. This is for more advanced people who have advanced, at least. I won't say people, but people who have advanced in their recovery stages and need something a little bit stronger to pick them up and help propel them into their power stage, as I call it, to where they're really starting to come into their own. They have the understanding now. They just need to be pushed into that final stretch of recovery. So we'll focus on that on this tour coming up. I'll let you and update you guys on the other states that I'll be attending in other areas and locations. Um, until then, though, consultations, you can visit the website at www.asscgroup.com if you're looking for a consultation. And that's about it. So next time, please share the videos, guys. Share the videos. Somebody might be able to benefit from this. And until next time, have a good one. Talk to you soon.